Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. And today we're going to be channeling messages from Archangel Sandalphon. And if you're new here, Archangel Sandalphon is a high ranking angel who kind of works in the same way that Gabriel does, but they are classified as, how do I want to call it, like a seraphim. So basically, traditionally, they are considered the angels that are closer to God or heaven, the core of creation, however you want to put it. And lately, they've been channeling through me more often. I've had messages come through from them before. I have previous readings where they've come through, and right now I just felt like she really wanted to come through, and I will be using she, her pronouns. Angels are genderless beings, but I tap into the divine feminine aspect of her. And also, traditionally, yes, I believe Sandalphon is associated with the, what was it? The prophet, no, not Elijah, not Enoch. Oh, yeah, no, it probably was Elijah. Um, yeah, it's one of the prophets from the Old Testament. But I just kind of refer to her as a higher ranking messenger, guardian angel working with the crown and the throat chakra. And from what she has mentioned before even channeling her right now and tuning into this collective, she wanted to mention to me that some of you are either aspiring to be priests or high priestesses, whether in your own faith, non-denominationally. Some of you might actually worked with ascended masters, or you're working with them in the present moment or sometime in the future, and you're basically, she compared you to being like a colleague. So for those of you who don't resonate with that, there's also messages here for you. It feels like there are two different wavelengths or energies I am picking up from this collective. And along with that, I do want to mention in the description below, I'm going to have two separate playlists, two separate series of songs and music that I pick up from her, because she likes to speak to me personally through music. And if you're working with either angel or I'm hearing candle magic, that will be very good for you to either tune into her, tune into a frequency you need to align with to fulfill your aspirations, either as a person who is working with channeling ascended masters and wants to become a healer, a guardian, a priestess, or just any other light workers here, or just anyone who wants to hear a message from her, because they're very kind of different, but some of them might be overlapping, and you might resonate with both playlists. And the playlist that is aimed towards priestess or priests and priestesses mostly has, I guess you would say, like gospel or spiritual music, but we will see if we get more songs as we channel. And some of the signs that Archangel Sandalphon is around you right now might be seeing rainbows, whether in the sky after a rainstorm, or noticing raindrops more, like on your car window or outside, or puddles in the ground. Mourning doves or different types of animals that you associate with messengers of peace might stand out more. If you have a family spirit animal or a guardian, I'm actually seeing a bear, a mother bear. Yeah, earth sign. Some of you might actually be earth sign starseeds, or have some affiliation with the constellation. That was I think a side message. So right now I feel like very tense in my throat. Like my throat feels like someone's taking it and like squeezing. You might need to work on your throat. And in fact, Sandalphon is suggesting for those of you who work with stones and crystals, getting turquoise or lapis lazuli or any tools you use to work on your crown and throat chakra right now, because it feels like I literally have a clamp right on my like larynx. It feels tense, it feels tight. So you might need to either work on that, do deep breathing, drink tea. I'm seeing actually chamomile tea, just relax your throat right now. I'm actually going to need a second because that was a little bit intense. Okay. Also, Sandalphon wants to mention or make note that these crystals that we use or stones we use, the power or the attributes come from our mind. They're tools, basically. And while they might have metaphysical properties, excuse me, it is our minds and our intentions that make these gems do what they do. The power of your mind is so influential over everything in your life, in your world. And it's easier sometimes to have tools to help us manifest a spiritual frequency into our reality. So we can assign, like for amethyst, that it has some sort of protective power over a crown. Regardless of the true nature of its physical properties, our brain can make that association, and it makes it easier for us to passively hold that stone and say, this is my anchor point for this to be true. And that is a good starting point for anybody who's beginning to work with, more metaphysical means of healing or increasing spiritual awareness, because Sandalphon wants me to introduce you to the concept of spirit magic and spirit science, and the power of our mind that makes our reality. So we have a lot more control over our minds and our bodies than we might even know as a society. And just remember that the placebo effect exists. If we convince ourselves we can run a marathon, and we say that to ourselves every day and we actively work towards it because we know we're going to do it, and we say we're going to do it, most likely you are going to do it. You might not run it the fastest, but if you say it's so and you will yourself to do it, it can be so. And that's the power of the mind over the matter of the natural world. So you can say that this stone is going to soothe my anxiety, and hold it and just think about that and breathe and believe it's so. And yes, the placebo effect does have basically a whole body response. So I wanted to mention that to those of you who might be beginning down this road. And those of you also, I'm hearing, who might be going through a crisis of faith lately, your mind makes your reality. So if you're fearing speaking your truth or opening your throat or even working with higher ranking ascended beings, I just want to let you know that they're kind of no different from us. They are our brothers and sisters and siblings, and establishing a relationship with them is like establishing a bond with any person in this world. It's the matter of the ego that gets in our way, the matter of fear. And yes, while there are some spiritual entities you have to be wary of, and you can't just be throwing your energy out there without some sort of practice or method of protection. But often enough, you can just say, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And they cannot actually speak to you or enter in without your permission. But it is up to you to decide that, because as I am sitting here, there's no fear. Um, And I lit a candle for you today. Sandalphon wants me to show it to you. Now, I don't have any affiliation with this brand, but Spirit wants me to show you this. Lighting a candle that brings you joy, setting the intentions and looking at it might actually help you in the near future to reconnect to a part of yourself that is going through an ego death. It is not uncommon to have a lot of this pop up crisis of faith, not believing in your own gifts when we're going through spiritual growing pains, when you are about to break through with a new way of existing in the world, a new gift, a new spiritual entity wanting to work with you or channel through you. It's not uncommon to have that shift in your own being. Some of you might actually be going through, I'm hearing a wake-up call. You might be experiencing widespread pain. If you have been working on your gifts lately, or if you've been noticing new spirits or abilities are appearing out of nowhere, it requires a little patience and understanding and divine timing to understand what's going on. But essentially, what you're seeing here is a certain level of ascension you're going through. It's a growing pain. You might feel like you're being tested in your abilities. And I'm hearing Sandalphon's helping you to champion over them. And some of you, or a few of you here, might be older priests or priestesses, or have family members who are shaman, mediators. I hear some of you might have had family who are Freemason or interested in it, in the more what is it called, philosophical aspect, humanitarianism. You've been working towards something like that recently, working in a humanitarian or financial aid relief. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. There's a lot coming through. Yeah, okay, so back on track. I saw the number 60. Some of you, if you are older priestesses, or if you knew an older priest who was either in their 60s when they died, or you're 60 now, because I'm seeing an image of a woman with long white hair or light blonde hair, and she's holding this stick. Well, it's like a staff, and there's like amethyst at the end, and there is this glowing aura around her of just purple. If that resonates with you, if you're that priestess, or if you're working with someone or a shaman who looks like that, or if you have a spirit guide that kind of looks like that or feels like that or follows you around, you are being guided to enter in to a stage of your life where you are going to find more relief, or more relief than usual. Give me a second while I channel this entity. Okay, she wants me to flip over the middle card for you. If this is your higher self, or this pertains to a spirit guide, it might actually resonate for a few of you, but just only take whatever version of it does, and let me know if it makes sense. But yeah, okay. Oh, so that's interesting. So I got a song. I forget which of the Hunger Games it's from, but it was, oh my gosh, okay, that's dark. I'm gonna give a trigger warning right now. So I heard the song Hanging Tree from one of the Hunger Games movies. And so what do you want to say about that? I heard the name Missy Elliott. Don't worry, Missy Elliott. I don't know what that means. Give me a second. There is something about a promise or commitment that you or a soul guardian made that you are following through with now. And the angels and Sandalphon want to help you with that, master over this mystical pathway you're taking. Because I can't get the image of this woman out of my head as she winked at me. So this might be someone who's working with you and encouraging you to follow in their footsteps as a shaman. It's going to bring you a lot of fulfillment and hope and joy, and not just material abundance. And I'm hearing some of you had family or ancestors or currently family members who practice witchcraft or some sort of mysticism. And they want you to know not to have fear when working with certain practices, because just like any metaphysical practice, it can be used for good or bad. Like any practice on this planet can be used for good or for bad. Like medicine can be used to cure the world, but it could also be used to cause a lot of harm. It's what we do with it, what we use, what is essentially a type of tool for interacting with the universe. And I know that there's a lot of like bad feelings towards it because it's not well known historically. It's been kind of shunned upon, even though I rarely really kind of personally see the difference between modern day witchcraft and traditional religious mysticism. In most religions, for a very long time, most religions have mystical practices. Literally, like Mother Teresa had some sort of like spiritual experience with God, and that was entirely a metaphysical kind of thing. Like Christian mysticism, Jewish mysticism, like so many religions have that aspect of how do we connect with God in a deeper way without having a necessarily a priest be that middle ground. How do we create a personal relationship? And we use our own minds and our tools in front of us. But whatever the case may be, Sandalphon and whatever spirits are around you want you to tap into the frequency of your higher self that offers you room to grow these gifts that are well within you and your right to use for basically whatever purpose you desire, because at the end of the day we have free will. And if you understand karmic balance and you understand that if you do something bad towards the universe, you pretty much forfeit any right to live a peaceful life, it will come back to you. I'm just saying. And then that's not a threat, that's just a warning, by the way. It's a law of attraction, and you want to do good by you by doing good by the universe. But I think whatever stigma was associated with your family line might be coming back to you in order for you to heal this so you can move on with your life. And there's a lot of love around you. And I'm feeling like there might have been a time of lawlessness where you did not have control over either the gifts or how your gifts manifested in your life, or you weren't taught to control them. You might not have understood what you were dealing with. And ascended masters, fellow high priestesses might be good to talk to or with if you don't know any. Maybe looking towards metaphysical stores near you, or I know online can be iffy, but there are certain places where you can possibly look into different communities and just get started in that direction. And even right here, this is a good example. I like to use this like on YouTube, even this channel, just hearing from a fellow spiritual person or someone who has worked with ascended masters and is, I consider myself a high priestess. Literally, Sandalphon didn't want me to sit down without saying specifically I am a high priestess, and saying that to you, that you're not alone. Like any guidance you can get from anyone in the spiritual community will be important for you too. But tuning into this person, this leader, don't be afraid if you start having doubts and you feel like you're joining. I heard some of you are like, I heard the phrase, it sounds like you're starting a cult or you're joining a cult. Here's the thing, you don't have to do anything with anyone. You can be alone and just talk with God and pray and he will listen to you, and he might even respond, but he usually responds in the way we can understand and perceive. So that's why I use music a lot. That's why I get a list of signs and synchronicities. Candles, golden glows that are around you might also be significant. And that's a form of communication. Like, he's not going to enter into our living room and then state his claim. That's going to be too much. But he might send like a living, breathing human being to respond to something you might have asked, and you might not even realize that that is a response to your prayer until you get to the point in your spiritual journey, or in whatever manifestation that you were bringing in, to understand how the universe responds. He responds through all of us. The messages come through us, not just the world around you, not just through music. And that's something I had to learn along the way, that I would have an entire conversation with my angels, and then later during the day, someone would almost say the exact same thing I would say, or pick it up where it left off, and I would be like, oh, okay, thanks. And I wouldn't let them know it happened, but it's sort of like, it's just, once you get to the point where you have such a steady relationship with these type of spirits you're working with, your higher self and God, you just see that in everything, and it's gonna be okay no matter what you choose and no matter what happens. God, Sandalphon, the angels are always with you and want to be there with you during this journey, whether you choose to keep on going through this or not, or whether you perceive them. So well, first of all, we're getting a lot of good news and vibes. Okay, that song comes up a lot, but I heard Birdhouse in your soul, so you're keeping the light on. There was also a message about standing up for what you believe in, even if it's unpopular, because we're definitely in a day and age where humanity is going through growing pains, and there's a lot of angry teenagers, which I don't like to put what's happening in our world lightly. But the way God sees it, they're just a bunch of toddlers throwing a tantrum. In the grand scheme of an eternity, these people are angry and wounded and kind of destroying the world in our lives, and we end up feeling that and destroying each other, and that's not right or fair for anyone. The world kind of needs a lot of tender love and care, because there seems to be more and more of a lack of light and empathy being reflected to us by people who are you know running the show, let's say it. I want to be very cautious of what I'm saying right now, so let me just put it that way. But all in all, it's, for the most part, humanity does want to grow. It does want to receive light and love. Humanity wants to be loved. Like, love exists because we do. Like, humanity can grow and thrive, and there is hope because there are so many amazingly good people out there in the world. There's also a lot of very hurt and scared people. So be very compassionate towards everyone around you, even when it's difficult, because you have to understand that Mother Earth is going through a shift. The human collective is going through a shift, and there's a lot of really hurt souls. And I just want to say that I want to actually send a lot of love to you. And for some reason, I felt like I wanted to be there with you and give you a hug. For those of you out there who might need it, very specifically, I saw the number 9. Okay, well, there's it. But I saw the number 9. Like, 9 of you need a hug. I'm gonna send 9 big hugs to you out there. I don't like laughing about this, but it's interesting that, let me just give you an example. When you get to a certain point in your ascension and healing, when God tells you these are just wounded children, and he's referring to people who are like angry and almost even villainous to all of us, and it's like, are you what? What do you mean this person is like, we're all children of God. God is just as much, in charge of the people who we might see as being horrible. They're children of God. Like they might have lost their way, but only he can decide what happens to their souls. And as far as I'm concerned, like their souls or their higher selves are struggling behind the wheel because they might be there like on standby watching their vessel be on autopilot from the higher realms. And it's like, what the heck are you doing? Don't do that. That's not good for you or anybody. So I think next time you see someone who's saying something vile or mean or being destructive, I want you to imagine that their higher self is riding co-pilot to someone who's just running the whole ship into the ground. Their higher self is like, what the heck are you doing? Don't do that. And it's harder to get mad at them because you know where they're going to end up crashing and burning, and nobody's going to look at them very fondly. And in the moment, it hurts. But when you get to a point and you see like everything like so clearly and understanding that we are all connected and part of each other, and if one person is hurting, the world is hurting, and we deserve to be able that to be in that age of freedom and freedom from hurt or wounds, and enable our society to tap into more, like, I guess, spiritual magic, to be able to create and flow, to reset the balance back to a time where we can be one, we can be free, and as a society, not feel like we're so alone and separate anymore. When you get to a certain point in your spiritual journey, I promise you, you will feel like you are never alone. You're just one. You're part of the whole. But to get to that point takes a lot of frustration and worry and tears and getting mad at your brothers and sisters, and sometimes walking away from them, sometimes leaving them alone. And no matter how many times I learn these lessons and I get to a point where I've healed, sometimes a memory comes up and I have to say, well, I don't like that person very much. I don't like what they did. Even though I know that they're connected to me and, you know, I can forgive them if I choose to, or I don't have to. It really is just our choice. Our soul mission isn't just to be any one thing. We are not put into creation just to have this one thing set in stone, put into motion. We get to choose what we do with the gifts we have, with our time on this earth, and God, the angels, and everyone else in creation can help you with that, is helping you with that, even in ways you can't see or know. And Sandalphon wants you to know that that's exactly what's going to be either becoming apparent to you or coming through to you, especially if you are ascending higher in a rank of a religious faction or part of your spiritual journey, because it's going to be a lot easier for humankind to transition into an age of unity if we have more spiritual leaders who understand truly on a very deep and empathic level what it actually means to hold the fruits of the spirit within, to be able to be kind and patient and gentle, to look upon our neighbors and not judge them, but give them a fighting chance to know the truth, to see the truth, and walk that path. Because that's normally what most ascended masters and spiritual leaders do. We offer a choice. We offer a clear vision, and we say, forgive yourself even if you don't choose to walk that path. Everyone is worthy of love and a fighting chance to make a choice, but they cannot make a choice unless they're informed upon it. And there is no forcing someone out of fear of death to believe in something. We as spiritual leaders, or we as just people, human beings, teaching each other and learning from each other, only have a responsibility to bear our own wounds and lessons and learn. And if we so choose to teach others or learn from our experience, it is on the student, not the master, to be able to change. Just know that as long as you provide away the information needed, you are doing the work of the universe, of the angels, of God, the divine. It is not to induce fear, because at the end of the day, we all have a choice, and we have no place to cast judgment on anyone. Judge lest ye be judged. So I just want to let you know that you are loved by the divine. You are loved by the angels. You are a being of love and light, and you are bringing that forth into this world. And you are essentially, by your wisdom, by your empathy and path alone, almost in a way forcing the world to see your faith through another set of eyes. So it does not fight itself any longer. It's not battling with itself. The people of this world might be going through a lot of, I just feel like the entire world is being shaken to a crisis of faith. What is love? What is God? What is humanity anymore? What is right and wrong? And as long as we as a society are not taught what is right and wrong, we will continue to fall down a path where we fight ourselves in our own minds, and we fight each other. And that's not a world any of us want. And I feel like whatever fear you might be having within yourself, you are going to get through. God, no one, okay, so I heard the phrase, no one's going to throw you overboard. You are a first mate. Okay, so you are captain of your own ship, but you are being, okay, that's interesting, forced to work with the divine for the time being. That might resonate for some of you. What else you want to say, Sandalphon? I'm hearing get pink Himalayan salt. And for those of you who use salt water baths for spiritual cleansing, I, I'm being told to recommend that. If you have other methods of cleansing your energy or your physical body, maybe use those specific oils, scented candles. So, is there anything else, Sandalphon? Okay, I heard them say you are not your mom, you're not your dad. You are you, and you get to decide where you go with your life. And now I think most of the messages will be coming through the music in the description below. So I will have it down there, and I will leave it at this because I'm having a little bit of trouble speaking. So I hope this has helped you today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you'd like to see more angel readings or angel videos in the future. I do enjoy doing them. If any of you like readings or messages about different ways to channel energies or work as high priestess, or if you just like to learn more about this and even learn from my experience, just let me know. And I want to thank you once again for tuning in. All my light and love to you, dear viewers, and see you in another reading.